Hi YouTube and welcome back to another alternate history video. Today I got the 2008 presidential election once again, which was held between Obama and McCain. However, in this alternate scenario here, I got Bev Perdue, the former governor of North Carolina and lieutenant governor, and Sarah Palin, the former governor of Alaska, and of course the running mate of John McCain in the actual scenario election. So, like I said, Bev Perdue here, who I got as a Democratic nominee, was, like I said, the former governor of North Carolina, and she actually, 2008 was the year she actually ran and was elected governor. She was lieutenant governor at the time. However, I got her as a nominee here. If, like, maybe she decided to throw in her name for president instead of running for governor, and she ends up actually getting the nomination, like, say, maybe Obama or Hillary, or even Biden doesn't run then, and the field's pretty weak, and Perdue decides to run and gets the nomination, like I said in this scenario, and then Palin gets the nomination on the Republican side. So here we have the two battle of the women, two governors, and just a little more background about Perdue. She is actually pretty moderate. She was actually kind of conservative on some issues like illegal immigration. She was against, and giving tuition to illegal she was against, because I believe she actually attacked Pat McCrory, who she ran against for governor, for not being against it enough. And I believe because of that, she could have better support in the South even. She could make it a little more competitive, especially being from North Carolina. I think the South, most of the South would still go to Palin in the end, but I just think if Perdue had been the nominee back then, she would have made the South a little more competitive because of those factors, like I mentioned, being against illegal immigration and things like that. Now, getting into the scenario, I believe Bev Perdue would take the state to Washington, Oregon, and California, of course, the typical blue states here on the West Coast, as well as Obama's birth state of Hawaii and Obama's home state of Illinois, as well as New England here, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and D.C., Vermont, New York, and probably New Hampshire would be pretty solid. I don't see Sarah making them that competitive, as well as all of Maine. Palin could maybe make the second district a little more competitive because of being like a Trumpian type candidate, even back then. Of course, she was prone to a lot of gaffes, so I believe that wouldn't help her in this case, but I believe Maine would still be pretty solid. Pennsylvania, too, even likely, if not safe, because I don't say Palin owned a great support in the suburbs, especially working class people. I say Perdue went in that state pretty easily. Now, Palin could do pretty good in the rural parts, I believe, but I think just the suburbs and Erie County and all that would be too much to overcome, as well as Wisconsin, Michigan. I don't think they would be that competitive. I could definitely say, like I talked about in Pennsylvania, maybe Sarah improving in the rural parts, but that's about it. I don't see her being competitive much anywhere else in the states with unions and working class people, suburban counties. And Minnesota, too. I don't think that was as competitive in 08, so I believe that was solid go for Perdue. However, Palin states here, I believe, of course, would be Montana, which actually was a close state in the actual scenario, but still did lean on McCain, so I believe we'll go Palin in this case, as well as Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, all of the Mormon Belt here. Arizona, I believe, will still be pretty solid in this case, even with McCain not being on the ticket, as it wasn't a competitive state for quite a few cycles. And her home state of Alaska, of course, and the Dakotas, which Obama actually made more competitive in these states, believe it or not. But I think in the end they will still go Palin, of course, since there were still pretty solid margins for McCain, as well as Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, which wasn't competitive back then when solid margins for people like Bush, McCain, and Romney until it got more competitive when Trump came along. And Nebraska here, I believe most of his districts would go to Palin, 4 of them. Now, the second is worth talking about because it did go for Obama, so I'll come back to that. Now, for the rest of these states, though, I believe Missouri would go for Palin. It was actually a close state between McCain and Obama, but since Obama couldn't even win it, I believe it would go Palin in this case, as well as the Deep South here, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, whole country here. I believe it's doing great for Palin. Like I said earlier, I could see Bev Perdue making the South here a little more competitive, being from North Carolina and being against illegal immigration and things like that. But I believe this would still go Palin in the end, as well as West Virginia, which had a Democratic streak for many years until 2000 when it went for Bush, and it's only gone redder since then. So I believe that would go Palin, as well as South Carolina and Georgia. I don't believe that would be. It would definitely be a little more competitive with Perdue on the ticket, but I believe that would still be a likely margin for Palin. Indiana was a state that went for Obama. However, I don't know if Perdue would be able to win it since she wouldn't be from Illinois like Obama was. Of course, she was from North Carolina, like I said. So I think because of that, I think Palin actually would take Indiana in this case, since Obama wouldn't be on the ticket. I think it would still be narrow, like it was in the actual scenario, and Perdue being a moderate, but I think it would edge out Palin because of the Obama factor being out of the question. However, Iowa and Ohio here, I believe, would go Perdue. I believe Palin would make them a little more competitive, but with it just being 2008 and unfavorability towards Republicans, I believe it would still go Perdue in this case, and with her having good working class appeal and even doing decent in some rural counties, being a moderate, like I mentioned. And I believe she would take Colorado and New Mexico. Bev Perdue, since it did flip to Obama in 08, has gone bluer since then. And as well as Nevada, it did flip for Obama, like I said, and it's been a lean to likely Democrat state since then. And I don't see Palin really taking that because of Clark County and the suburban counties. Nebraska here, I'll go back to. So I did go 4 of the votes to Palin, which I believe would go for her solidly. However, Nebraska second did go for Obama, like I mentioned. I could see Perdue winning it, possibly being a moderate, and being 2008. Maybe it could flow back to Palin since Bev was from North Carolina, but I think since Bev had like the right stances, being a moderate, like I said, and I don't think she would alienate too many voters in that district, and I believe she would actually still take Nebraska second, being an unfavorable year towards the Republicans. So we'll give her that district there in Nebraska. I believe Palin would take at large. Looks like I'm going to have to delete it here just to give her at large. So I believe she would take Nebraska at large solidly. But I'm still going to give Bev Perdue the second district here. So like I said, I'm going to give 4 out of 5 to Palin, 1 to Bev Perdue. So now it's up there. There we go. I believe Bev would take the second district, like I said, since I did go for Obama. I see her having the right appeal, too, like Obama did to win it. And for home state North Carolina, I could see her winning because Obama did. And because of her being from there, she would definitely have great support, being a moderate, as I mentioned. So I believe this state would tilt her. I believe it would still be a close one, but because of home state factor, I could see her taking it against Palin here and being moderate enough. As well as Florida, it would definitely be competitive, like it always is for many years now. But with this being 2008, I believe this would edge out Perdue, as well as my home state of Virginia. I don't really see Palin having that much support here in the suburbs. I'd say definitely the rural parts, and even Perdue could do decent in the rural parts, but the suburbs would give Perdue the victory here, I believe. So there's my final map with Perdue still winning pretty much a landslide here, 354 to Palin's 184. The only state flipping here really is Indiana. I could still go Perdue, I think, but my gut tells me I would go to Palin with Obama not being on the ticket. But if you agree or disagree with this scenario, just comment below your thoughts on this. And I thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications if you haven't. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.